A U.S. Coast Guard rescue swimmer described the crash scene as surreal.
The Guard had sent out one plane and 2 choppers to save lives. KITV4's Nana Okawa joins us live in the studio tonight, and she talked to rescuers about their efforts. Nana.
The rescue team members told us all of the survivors were outside the aircraft when they arrived on scene, each floating, holding tight onto their life jackets and fighting for their lives.
We didn't see an aircraft in the water. There was some debris.
Lieutenant Weston Red Elk was the pilot of the first U.S. Coast Guard helicopter on scene.
The H-60 from the Navy had already previously dropped 2 smoke floats in the water, which gave us immediate recognition of where the survivors were.
Hovering about 40 feet above water, he spotted 2 groups of people floating in the ocean. One a half-mile from shore, the other about a mile out. The survivors floating face up, clinging to life jackets, clearly exhausted. Rescue swimmer P.J. Ornott first spotted State Health Director Loretta Fuddy. He touched and shook her, but with no response. Protocol meant move on. The next person he saw was an elderly woman about 100 yards away from Fuddy.
She was just very tired, exhausted. I got up very close to her before she even bothered to move over to look at me at all.
She was hoisted up, and the next saved was a man with a clear bump and cut on his head. As the next U.S. Coast Guard rescue team arrived, rescue swimmer Mark Peer looked down at the water from the aircraft and saw a good sign, a big wave from a man in his 70s.
I got in the water, I swam up to him, and I said, "Hey, sir, Coast Guard rescue swimmer." And he just looked over and smiled, so it was a good feeling. I grabbed his arm, and he grabbed me back and signaled to the helicopter to send down the basket.
The next person he retrieved was the one the first rescuer had to pass up, Director Fuddy.
She was unresponsive, at which point I checked for a pulse, which I couldn't find a pulse.
The rescue team member said even though the weather wasn't rough, what made the rescue difficult was making sure there wasn't a crash between 2 aircrafts from different agencies. There were at least 6 in the air at a time trying to recover the survivors. Back to you.
Nana Okawa reporting tonight. Nana, thank you.